That's not normal.
No, that's not. Where did it go? Oh, it leveled out. How the hell did that happen?
It had a tail on it.
It totally had a tail on it. That orange thing in the sky, it's there. It has to be. It's like not even moving. Wow. It's just sitting there. There it goes again. Yeah, it is. Are we gonna have guys in black suits confiscate our phones on the way out? It's lower. There it goes again. It's a weather balloon. No big deal. Oh my god. What is that? Oh, you see that? It popped up. Okay, I got that on video.
Hi there, I'm Garrett Graff. I'm a journalist, historian, and the director of the Aspen Digital Cybersecurity Initiative here at the Aspen Institute, and I am joined today for this wonderful Aspen Ideas Festival conversation with Dr. Jill Tarter, the co-founder of the SETI Institute and one of the most renowned and fascinating astronomers and scientists of our age.
Thank you, Garrett. It's very nice to be here.
So this last year has seen a remarkable sea change in the way that our government and our society in some ways talks about the possibility of extraterrestrial intelligence. That we are seeing senior U.S. officials talk about unexplained phenomenon in the skies over our heads, and this of course is all coming on the heels of the Oumuamua interstellar object that passed through our solar system in recent years and has caused us to think differently about the possibility of things from beyond our own worlds. I mean, in some ways our national dialogue has seemed to catch up to where you have spent most of your career.
Well, yes, in some ways, and no in other ways. Garrett, when we got started with this attempt to systematically search the electromagnetic spectrum for evidence of someone else's technology, we went to great lengths to make a big distance between the scientific exploration that we were undertaking and the pseudoscience of UFOs and other crazy ideas. And we've worked hard to make that distinction all along. And so now what's happening is that people are admitting that there's a lot of physics that we don't yet understand. When we started, there was this real question about pilots, presumably good observers, were seeing lights above thunderclouds, right? And it wasn't until we had orbiting satellites looking down at Earth with high time resolution that we learned that lightning travels up as well as down. And now we have a whole study of things we call sprites and elves. And it's physics. It isn't extraterrestrials, right? And I think that's what's happening here. We have a lot of people who have, frankly, manipulated the government and found funding for themselves by hyping this idea And there are other people who have looked at the data and said, no, these are internal camera reflections, or they're camera motions, or they're not some kind of aircraft or spacecraft. But they don't get listened to quite as much. So we have this, again, confounding of actual science and speculative and exciting storytelling. And we need to get to the bottom of it. We need to make sure that the people who have made studies and have explanations for these get listened to.
You have talked a lot about, over the course of your career, sort of drawing this distinction between the possibility of extraterrestrial life and the probability of extraterrestrial life. And in some ways, just the sheer odds of the number of stars, the number of planets around stars, augurs well that life does exist somewhere out there, but it may not be in a way that can communicate with us or that we will ever notice. What do you make of this sort of moment in our fascination with what lies beyond, and how do you sort of see our fascination with the search for extraterrestrial life playing out over the years ahead?
From the very first time we walked out of the caves and looked up and looked over across the valley to the hills beyond, we wondered what was out there. And we have long wondered how we fit in to this cosmos. And we are increasingly eager to understand our place. And whether we are absolutely garden variety normal, whether we're unique, because it could still be, even with the large numbers, that we are unique, or whether we're really kind of at the bottom of the pecking order, and that there are other cultures and technologies out there that are far more capable than we are. So we really have always wanted to calibrate our position in the cosmos. And now that we have increasing technology and more observational tools, and we're looking at the universe in ways that we've never been able to do before, we're being able to set some limits, set some boundaries, while still understanding that this is a really vast exploration that we're trying to accomplish. I like to tell people that numerically, if you consider all the different parameters that we need to explore to perhaps discover an electromagnetic signal from some other technology, there are 9 different parameters. And if you make an estimate of how much each parameter covers, and then make a 9-dimensional volume out of that, I'm not really good at visualizing it, but I can do this experiment. I can say, let's take the volume that we need to explore and set that equal to the volume of all the Earth's oceans. And how much of those oceans have we explored? And when I first did this calculation, when SETI was 50 years old, the answer was one glass of water out of the oceans. And now, a decade later, it's more like a small hot tub, right? So we haven't done a very good job yet in this exploration, but it will get better and it will get faster, mainly because of the improvement in computing technologies and the new telescopes that we're putting on the to look at the sky.
I mean, I find this question of the magnitude of the work of the search ahead just one of the most humbling questions that we've wrestled with. And it leads to this very profound and I think almost sad conclusion that simultaneously life elsewhere seems very probable, but that it also seems entirely possible that we may never find it. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what you think it means for humanity if we're ever able to find that there is life somewhere out there, even if we're never able to tell exactly what it is and what it looks like.
Well, I think this whole enterprise of trying to find life beyond Earth does something that's profoundly important. Because when we think about ourselves and when we think about the possibility of something else beyond Earth, I think it has the effect of holding a mirror up to all of us on this planet. And when we look in a mirror, we think that I'm different than you are, and you're different than someone else, and we worry about race and ethnicity and skin color and all of this. But in that mirror that the concept of life beyond Earth provides us, it tells us that actually we're all the same. It trivializes the differences among humans, differences that we're willing to spill blood over, right? And it says, compared to something else that might be out there, humans are all the same. And so I think it's really important to keep making that point and trying to shift our perspectives collectively to a more cosmic perspective. Because we face all of these challenges, climate change and food and water instability and great poverty and illness. We face all of these challenges, which the pandemic has really reminded us do not respect national boundaries. And to solve them, to find solutions, we're going to have to act cooperatively and collaboratively. We're going to have to act together as Earthlings to solve these great challenges if we're going to have a long future. Because there are lots of things that indicate that perhaps our future is not so long, but might be very short. And so I love the fact that people are interested in the idea of life beyond Earth. And when we get a chance to talk to them about the idea, we also get a chance to encourage them to view themselves as Earthlings and to act like it.
What you're talking about is also the thesis of Oxford philosopher Toby Ord's book, The Precipice, about how important it is that humans really look at the existential threat to mankind right now, to humankind, and consider all of the innovation and exploration that we might be cutting off if we don't take that long view, and sort of the eons of generations ahead, and what all of mankind and humankind might be able to do down the road. And it's a fascinating way to sort of rethink the way that we think of ourselves as less now and more sort of what we might be possible of, thousands or millions of years down the road.
Well, there aren't going to be thousands or millions of years down the road if we don't get this right.
Yeah.
And, there's no planet B. And unless we solve these problems here on our own homeworld, there's no sense in talking about, well, we'll go somewhere else. Once we've once we've trashed this place, we'll go somewhere else. But, technically that might be possible, but it wouldn't work because we just do the same mistakes there.
Yeah.
We really have to get our act together and solve these challenges right here, right now.
You were a big part, obviously, of the Carl Sagan Contact book and movie with Jodie Foster, based in many ways on your own work. And one of the things that you have said in your career is the way that we think of aliens and extraterrestrial life in sci-fi often seems wrong, because it says more about us than it does about them. And I wonder if you could sort of explain what you mean about effectively why we shouldn't necessarily fear life from other planets if and when we ever encounter it.
Well, first of all, long before CGI, all we had were human actors and latex, right? And so the aliens always ended up looking pretty much like us. we've been able to expand our concepts through computer graphics. But it's important to understand that our star in this region of our galaxy, the Milky Way, is on average about 1 billion years younger than the other stars in this sector. So it's quite possible that if another technology has evolved around another star, it could be a lot older than we are. And we worry and we have these, fantasies about, oh, they're gonna come and eat us up, right? Or it's really threatening to think about life on some other world. And I don't feel that way. So if they can get here, right? They have more technology than we have. They're presumably a lot older than we are. And how have they managed to get to be an old civilization? I think that I'm in the I'm in agreement with Steven Pinker, who talks about we are now kinder and gentler than we have ever been in our history, thanks to cultural evolution becoming a strong factor in how we mature. And I think that any old civilization which has managed to sustain itself has therefore had to outgrow the really aggressive tendencies that probably helped them to become intelligent in the first place, and that they are probably kinder and gentler than our society today. And so I don't have a great fear of the other. And I'm really eager to find an opportunity, a way, if you wish, to ask them, how did you do it? How did you manage to overcome your technological adolescence? That's where we are today. Mm-hmm. How did you make it? Because I think there might be a lot to learn.
Dr. Jill Tarter, thanks so much for joining us at the Aspen Ideas Festival here.
Garrett, it's been great fun. Thank you for having me.